Onomichi is adorable. A little random, but yeah, very cute. It's tucked between Okayama and Hiroshima, making it the perfect pit stop if you're heading that way. It's a laid-back town, which on its own can warrant a pit stop with temples and cable cars, but most people are coming down to check out the Shimanami Kaido, a cycling route jumping from peninsula to peninsula and crossing over some pretty sweet looking, if not a little imposing in their design, connecting bridges. I'll talk about Onomichi before we get on to the cycling. Onomichi is nice and contained, and if you're not spending long in Japan, then 24 hours does cut it nicely. But it's a real Japanese town. It finds a cool clash of traditional and modern, with slated roofs and narrow alleys, cats prowling about, and always looming above as an observable beacon from another distant time, the Onomichi Castle. Okay, so apparently Onomichi Castle sucks. Like, don't take my word for it, I never went up there, but my hostel owners were adamant that it's fake and a tourist trap, so I never bothered making the trip. But it does look pretty sweet from the ground and does make for some good photography. Otherwise, Onomichi is a cute, sleepy seaside town. Docks and boats line the river with regular ferries connecting to the other islands. The central promenade runs for kilometers and kilometers, lined with main clothing outlets, commerce, ramen houses, bars, and on weekends is supposed to be teeming with markets. There's plenty to keep you occupied for at least a day, getting lost in alleys, winding roads, and if you're game to condemn yourself to hell for all eternity, then you can prowl through some cemeteries. Okay, so this was a pretty active temple. I don't think there was much sacrilege going on with walking through here, but if you can find this spot, then it makes for a great panoramic shot of the city and the nearby islands. I can totally recommend the guest house I stayed at, the Onomichi Guest House Fuji, because it was really sweet. Sure, it's a ball-busting 2-kilometer walk from the station, which, given the heat and my luggage, I wasn't thrilled with, but it's totally worth it. It's run by a local couple who take a real interest in their guests. The husband was genuinely concerned with me wanting to go cycling in the heat, but I was stubborn and he was kind, and I think he appreciated what a fatigued mess I was, so he actually drove me back into town where I could rent a bike. And that's what I did. I started at midday, so I couldn't actually manage to complete the whole Shimanami Kaido, since it's connecting 6 islands over about 70 kilometers. But I was confident I could make a dent of about halfway. Renting the bike was cheap, $5 or more if you're returning it by 7 PM. So with that time constraint, I got ferried across the river, got pedaling, and began following the persistent blue line which trails the whole Shimanami Kaido as long as my legs were able to carry me that day. It was the most wholesome, stupid fun. Like, it was monstrously hot. So hot that I was having an existential crisis on the way back because I was pretty sure that, yep, this is it, I'm going to die from heat stroke. But that just kind of makes it more fun. And honestly, there's plenty of tea houses on the way, so you just get an iced tea, you take 5 minutes off, and then you get back on it. It's a lot of fun, people are waving at you, there's a cool river breeze, and it is honestly just really, really nice. So yeah, that was my time cycling. Back at the hostel, I befriended Ocean, yet another French girl who was just making her way through Japan. We got ramen that evening and drank soju on the nearby docks, where we could watch the reflective lights from the bistro across the river dance and mingle over the velvet water. It was nice, and that night I was so exhausted I just fell asleep the second my head hit that pillow. The next day was moving on to Hiroshima, French gal in tow. It was only 2 nights, but we made more friends, got to engage more with the history of Japan, climb mountains, and I think more importantly, obliterate our minds on more soju. So yeah, that was also pretty fun.